he's the worst bird. The flash him in the thousands. Casino boys become champions. Oh, 67. And then he's the worst bird. The flash him in the thousands. Casino boys become champions. It's known as the Celtic way. Wait for the ball from side to side, and until they try to hide. But wait for the ball from front to back. Attack, 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 67. And then he's a first man.
Good evening, everybody. Just firstly, can I just check? Somebody can let me know how that my mic's sounding. Tern says he was.
Yeah, it's perfect now.
Was that it now, Ter?
Yeah, it's perfect now, bud. I can hear clear as day now.
Right, I don't know what that is then. Maybe it's when we're no live, Ter, the volume changes or something.
It could be, no, but it's clear as day now. It's normal now, Mark.
Right, okay, I'll batter on. Right, good evening, everybody. I hope you all had a great Christmas. Welcome to our podcast. This is for our forum at www.CelticRumoursTV.co.uk. You can find the links to all that below, the description box below. Everybody's more than welcome on there. In the Discord group and that as well. Feel free to join in there. The Christmas appeal, but it's still open for another couple of days, but we've raised £1,075 this year, which is brilliant. Thanks to everybody that donated it. Really, really appreciate it. It's helped a lot of people. And if you didn't and you couldn't, don't sweat it. It's not that kind of deal. A few shout outs to some of the lads for the forum. Who have we got there? Paul's actually in Poland for Christmas and that with his wife's family. So if you're listening in, Paul, if he's sober, it's the drunken messages I've been getting to. You know what Paul's like with a drink in him, Ter, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, God, I can imagine.
Mad Dog McGinn, Old Tim Alloy, JFP, Mikey, Wee John United Ireland, Big Jabber, Welshie, Malika, TV for the Discord group, Deef Kev as well. Who have we got in? Bobby would have been first in the night. Evening, Bobby. Patrick McLaughlin, nice to see you. Henky, I know that's you. Wicklow Caesar. Michael Keogh, thanks for coming in, bud. David Gallagher, nice to see you, mate. Kenny Arthur, I forgot who you are. Is that Flip Flop? Might be, I don't know. But evening, mate. It's got your grot bags here. Bobby 1962, thanks very much for coming in again, bud. Right, well, that's us. Well, did you have a nice Christmas, Ter?
I did indeed, bud. Yeah, it was very nice. It was very nice yourselves.
Oh, aye. Just up at my sister's for dinner, then back down the road.
I saw a few pictures. You looked very well under the blanket.
Did wee man enjoy it? I was Santa good to him.
Oh, he did, yeah. He got loads. He's actually inside there now playing with a Nintendo Switch with his mammy on the telly, roaring and shouting and trying to play Mario or something. So he's in his element. He's having a great time.
Good stuff. Thomas Burns, it's 478. Nice to see you, mate. Sandbag, thanks for coming in as well, mate. Well, we'll might as well start with yesterday's game, Ter. What was your? I mean, right, I'll say, before we go on, by the way, I was quite impressed with Livingston's pitch. I know they'd a new one relaid in the summer, but compared to what it was like last, do you know what I mean? What it was like, you have improved it. I know I don't think it still meets the standards, but at least you could see it on the. Mind you, we used to moan that you could hardly even see it on the telly, the glare coming off the pitch and stuff like that. I didn't even know they'd laid a new one, but it's a fair play to them for that. But I mean, we go Livingston for me. It's one of the, because of the surface and because we know the type of football that Martindale plays. it's one of the places I'm just glad to go in. But no matter who our manager is, tells or what kind of run we're on or whatever, I'm just glad to get in there, get the 3 points and get back down the road. But I mean, yesterday, to be 2-0 down after 2-1 down with after 8 minutes, it's mind, but it's crazy.
I'd first of all, I'd agree with you, Mark. Actually, the pitch, to be fair, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but they do look like they've done a lot of work on it. It resembled more like, I'm not saying it similar, but it resembled more like a normal pitch you would have seen when you played your Bodo Glints, and then there was no ridiculous bounces, there was no nonsense. Look, from that point of view, fair play to them, but as regards the game, it's clearly going to be a situation going forward that Celtic will need to score at least 2 goals to win a game from now on, if he continues in the same format he's going. Because they're going to concede a goal, a minimum of 1 goal in a game, maybe 2. So you're looking at Celtic will have to score at least 2, if not 3 goals to win a game. I have no, I mean, the first goal that Livingston had, it was an appalling ball by Tierney. I don't know what he was doing. It's something that he tried. He literally went sideways across the pitch, and then, for only the reasons known to Ralston, why he seemed to step back from the guy, I don't know. Like there was no logic for what he done for the first goal. He literally looked like he was going to make a challenge, and then he just stepped back and allowed the guy to have a clear shot. Then, fair enough, Celtic came back into it again, took the goal well, and again, I mean, I've seen a lot of people even on the forum blaming Yang, saying, oh, he kind of might have bumped into Ralston. But
I'm blaming the two of them.
Right, yeah, but Ralston is clearly very, very uncomfortable at playing this right centre-back position, or whatever the way they want to call it, because he's obviously used to being a right full-back. And he looks like doesn't know whether he's to stay out or come in or go forward or come back. He looks all over the place. You can see that Tierney has clearly played that system. I think they played it a little bit in Scotland, where they play kind of 3 at the back or stuff like that. And he's a little bit more used to it. But I saw someone saying that they want their fullbacks to bomb forward. How can they expect the fullbacks to bomb forward? So are we going to play with 1 man back?
Well,
just trusting.
Well, that's what it seems to look like to her. I mean, and that's what I'm like you're saying about Tierney. For me, I honestly think that the only thing saving Tierney for getting the same stick as Ralston is because he's played as in a back 3 and can do the defensive bit a bit better than Ralston can.
Just about.
I mean, see, really, it's like, as you're saying there, Ralston. I mean, Ralston. I've said it before on here. I can't even remember who it was, and I said at the time, I'd try Ralston as a centre back, but in a back 4. I meant, do you know what I mean? Not in a back 3. Do you know what I mean? The guy's always played as a full back in this position, and even now they're playing like him and Tierney. They're playing as a centre back, but they're pushing forward and they're overlapping with the wingers and stuff like that. So that's at no point in time really is that anything to do with playing as any form of centre back. No, and I think people say I can still fit, but it's not really not that kind of level terms. You know what I mean? It's still it's wide open. It's like Yang. Ralston could probably do what Yang does better than Yang. But do you know what I mean? Because Ralston's get more of the skills that are needed for a wing back. Yang's good going forward, but he's very poor defensively. And that's yesterday, I think, see that for the second goal, I think it was just a case of Yang and Ralston, the two of them didn't actually know where they were meant to be or whose job was what. That's how they end up getting into each other's road. I mean, it was some finish by the boy, fair play to him.
It was, but at the same time, it was a great finish, but at the same time, Mark, you're bang on, but the manager's playing, and I even put this in the forum once twice, the manager's playing 1 centre-back. You cannot play with 1 centre-back. I don't care what anyone says. He has 1 centre-back. Obviously, he doesn't see Scales in the team at all. They obviously the City lad, is it Pussy? Is that the right pronunciation?
Aye.
He obviously seems to be surplus to requirements as well. I mean, if he's going to play the system where he wants full backs in the back three, so that means either Trusty, Carter Vickers, Scales, or basically there's going to be about three of them sitting on the bench. There's only going to be one of them playing. Because he can't, if he wants the two full backs to be getting forward, that means he's going to play one centre back. So it's going to be Trusty, Carter Vickers, Scales, whoever you might say. And I don't understand the logic. But for me, if they want to play that formation, fine. But for me, the difference between when O'Neill played it and he played it, apart from O'Neill had a lot better players, O'Neill had three massive centre backs that didn't move like. And he had Neil Lennon in front of him. He had a defensive midfielder. Like they have no centre, they have no holding midfielder that stays there.
And think back, Terence, one of a new centre backs was Chris Sutton.
Yeah.
So you can move players about the pitch if they're capable of doing a different job. But for me, Young and Ralston, and to a certain extent KT, they're just not getting to grips with Nancy's expecting them to do on the park.
Mark, with that Celtic team, I'd probably look big. They're tiny, like. Do you know what I mean? They're tiny. They're a tiny side as well, like. And you're taking, like, I'm obviously going to be slightly biased here, but Scales has been one of the best defenders that Celtic have had in the last 2 years. Fine, he makes mistakes, but he hasn't made any more mistakes than anyone else has defensively. But he's good in the air. He's good defensively at clearing the ball. You're now asking Ralston and Tierney to do this and get forward and leave one defender back. Mm-hmm. Because for me, when Celtic lose the ball up in the opposition, the top half or top part of the pitch, the general consensus is right, a diagonal ball left or right. There's no full back there, and all of a sudden you're expecting Trusty to cover both sides of the pitch. That's nonsensical to me. That makes no sense. And when you don't have a holding midfielder there as well, then everyone else has gone forward. It's like an under-10s football match where everyone runs forward with the ball and then everyone tries to run back and then everyone tries to run forward. There doesn't seem like it's like Celtic's games are going to be like, we might win this 6-4 or we might win it 5-2 or there's no way you can see Celtic not conceding that game, and that's a big problem.
Aye, definitely. As you said there, I mean, I said at the time, I've never liked three at the back because it's for that reason. Terence, the big long diagonal boys they're always open to catch you in a counter attack, and that's where you playing. But even with the big kind of three big columns standing there, as you kind of called them there. Do you know what I mean? And there you can get caught out like that. But if you're pushing your two wide centre backs forward, as you said, your one man's get the full width of a pitch to try and cover. There's no way in the world that one man's capable of doing that without any kind of help, and then the rest of them, they're all kind of mad charging the light brigade back to try and help it.
But Mark,
and that's why Scales probably doesn't get in the team. Terence, he's probably not quick enough. That's probably that. But as to me, he's still our best kind of big, hairy ass centre back by far.
But the problem with it, Mark, is that like if you're playing whatever system he's playing, 3-5, whatever it is, 2-1 or 3-2 or whatever.
3-4-2-1. It's meant to be a 3-4-3, whatever way you want to.
But surely, if he's playing 3-4-3, surely the logic should be there. There should be enough between the midfielders and the forward lines for those players to be overlapping each other. If you've got three defenders sitting back there and you've got no whole midfielder, to be saying to the fullback, I want you to overlap the winger. That to me makes it. I'm not a manager, but it makes zero sense. It makes zero sense. Like if you've got four guys, if you've got three at the back, four, and then another three, surely when there's three boys up front, realistically there are two wingers, they come back in, and all of a sudden you've nearly got like six in the middle. Surely to God, they should be able to overlap each other and fill each other's space without having to have a full-back come involved. There seems there is no full-back. A left-sided centre-back or a right-sided centre-back to come up as well. It's nonsensical to me. I don't understand why he wants that, if that's what he wants. And it does appear to be the case that he wants that. And it makes no sense.
I mean, it's like when AJ comes back, Where does AJ, I mean, and he's played under Nancy, so where does AJ play in this formation?
Well, he either plays in Ralston's role or he plays in Yang's role. But this is again, but you're putting in a full back again, though, Mark. You're not putting in centre backs. And anyone who, like, from the years you'd see teams playing that 3-5-2, you'd very rarely would see them have a centre back and two full backs. You'd have three centre backs, and normally a holding midfielder in front of them. And yeah, if the full backs go up and down the pitch and overlap all day, fine, there's cover there. Because if there's a 3 centre backs and a holding midfielder, they can fall back into a back 4 if they need to. But at the minute, you're asking Trusty to cover left and right, and you could see him yesterday. He was roaring, shouting at people at certain stages yesterday because he's going to be left so isolated, and it's not very fair on him. Like,
it's him that's going to end up taking the blame for stuff that he can't help. Do you know what I mean? Because he's been left isolated, and obviously he's going to get targeted.
Yeah, to me, it's just like it. I don't understand. I can understand he wants to play 3 at the back. I get that. Fine. That's the way he has. He seems to be very kind of stubborn fella, and that's his MO. Fine. But I'd love to say, you'd love to ask him the question, well, why do you think you need the 2 full backs that are supposed to be centre backs or left and right centre backs or in a back 3 to bomb forward when you've already got, 8 other guys up the field, 7 guys up the field? Why do you need these guys bombing up the field as well? Like,
do you think Greg Taylor would have suited the system?
No. Mark, I'll be honest, I don't think anyone suits that system unless it's, as your terminology, 3 big, ugly, hairy-arsed centre-backs. That's it. Well, I don't care what he does after that. He can put wingers at wing-backs, or I'd be having the likes of John AJ at wing-back, and whether it's Maeda and the other one wing back, whoever it may be, or Tierney, whatever it is, Tierney and AJ, I don't care. But until you have 3 centre backs and you basically say, lads, we're staying here, and to me, you want 3 centre backs and a holding midfielder like a Neil Lennon kind of guy, then do what you want. He can overlap him, he can bomb inside him, he can do what they want. The rest of them can run all over the place. But at the minute, there is basically, we all out attack. When we lose the ball, we need to get back as quick as we can. And the opposition just get the ball, play it long, and it's basically like defend for your lives motion. Like that first 15 minutes was farcical. Like, it was absolutely farcical.
Keystone Cop stuff, wasn't it?
Oh, it was ridiculous because guys clearly, even, and like, he's been in there a little bit now. I know people say it's not that long, but he's been in there long enough. You can see guys aren't comfortable. You can see Ralston is not comfortable playing this position. He doesn't know whether to go forward, to come back, to go where, he doesn't know. And in fairness to Yang, I know people have been critical of him, but he's working his socks off to come back, and he's working his socks off to go forward. He's trying to play the wing-back role. Whether he's played it before, I don't know. Someone more football knowledge would be able to tell me yay or nay. But there's no defensive cover even in the midfield when Celtic lose the ball. You know, there's no one there like Callum McGregor or Engels or any of these guys. None of them are, in a sense, defensively minded. Nearly like a near.
But that's what Engels done, but when he was in Germany.
I know. I'm sure. Well, there you go.
I will say, I think, for Rodgers left, even under Lancey, I'd say we're seeing a bit more. Engels is showing up a bit more. He's showing a bit of dig about him.
Oh, he is 100%. Well, he's certainly, even under Martin O'Neill, he's flourished a lot more than under Rodgers, and he's obviously continued on a bit with under Nancy. Fair enough. But what I'm trying to say is, there's still no one in that position for me that just sits there. There's no one that sits there, looks for the ball off the fullback. Like, we're now expecting Trusty to bring out the ball every time. We're expecting him to bring out the ball every time and to be the guy who's distributing it. And I'm not for the guy, I'm not against the guy, but I don't think it's fair what's been put on his shoulders. He's the only centre half in the team. We seem to have 3 or 4 centre halves at times sitting on the bench. Even I'd rather see young Donovan playing there rather than Ralston playing there, to be perfectly honest with you. I think he's a better player, and if you want him to get forward or on that wing back role, I think he'd be decent if he had to, because he's young, he'd get up and down the field all day. But I think your man needs to find a system, because it doesn't matter what game they're playing. They're playing Motherwell, I think, at the 30th. They're going to concede. You know they're going to concede.
Aye.
And that's a problem. So before going into the game, we have to score 2, and we have no striker. Yes, we scored 4 the other day, but we have no striker. Johnny Kenny is miles off it, I'm afraid to say as well, being an Irish guy, but he's miles off it. As hard as he's trying. So we will have to score 2 goals against Motherwell to win the game. Minimum 2 goals. And then the derbies, the following, the third or whatever it is, we will have to score at least 2 goals to win that game. You can't keep going into a game knowing that you're going to concede before you start the game. It makes no sense. And that was one of the pillars that Martin O'Neill would always have, even when he came back. We don't concede, we won't lose the game. And look at the Dundee game where they won 1-0. There was 1 or 2 other games where they were very solid defensively. Even against Feyenoord away when they conceded early, he made sure the rest of the game they were solid enough. They got back into the game. The whole lot. Nancy, with the greatest respect to him, it seems to be, well, like, I won't say like Kevin Keegan of old, but it's nearly like a little bit like Newcastle, who have a lot better players at the time. But it was a Newcastle said, well, if they score 3, we'll score 6. That's what it seems to be like. Well, we don't have players that are going to score 6 goals. As I said, we don't have centre forwards anyway.
I mean, you can even say, it's good to watch for like a neutral's point of view, but it's not. I mean, and it's no entitlement. Do you know what I mean? We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be doing this and losing 2 goals to Livingston. As I said, I'm just glad we won yesterday and get done with the points. That's the main thing for me. At the end of the season, when we win the league, nobody's going to moan about, mind that time we were 2-1 down after 8 minutes at Livingston. When trophies come out, results like that don't matter. But it's just it's the system's just, it's everybody's can see it. Do you know what I mean? How open it is in Scotland and at Celtic. You can't. I mean, people could go on about like Jock Stein said something about as long as we score 1 goal more than the opposition, it's kind of stuff and that. But you just said to you can't get into games knowing and expecting that you're going to make the same mistakes that you've made every game previous to concede. I mean, it's even back. I mean, how many times did we concede for corners and nothing ever gets sorted with it? Nothing. It was just became part of like Celtic's makeup. If you get a corner against Celtic, you've got a good chance of scoring because you've not got a clue what they're doing. Yeah,
that's actually one of the main things about it, Mark, as well, is from corners and free kicks we seem to be all over the shop defending. But from our corners and free kicks, I couldn't tell you the last time we scored. I genuinely could not tell you the last time Celtic scored a header from a corner or a header from a free kick.
Did we score a corner the other week?
I don't know, maybe they did, but like what I'm saying is, we're not
known for it. We're not known for punishing team, and again, that's something that big teams do. I know that's something that we teams rely on against the bigger teams. But if you're a big team, you should have somebody that's capable of scoring 1 out of 3 or 4 free kick goals. You know what I mean?
Would Celtic score 5 headers a year from a corner or free kick?
Oh no.
When was the last time? The only one I can remember is I remember Scales scoring a header. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw Carter Vickers score a header. If he has, I know he's been out injured. I mean, it's very like we seem to be terrible at defending corners and free kicks and terrible on our own corners and free kicks. If that makes any sense. Like, you know, I know you said they scored there when it was last week or the week before, but fair enough, I can't remember it, but they're generally like when Celtic get a corner or free kick, I'm not expecting them to score, like, because it just seems to be a free kick seems to be, if it's near the edge of the box, someone comes up and just gives it a lash and hopes for the best, or a corner seems to be same kind of thing. You know what I mean? Well, we should be better because the likes of Engels is generally his distribution is quite decent. But again, I think we're a very, very small side, Mark, so it doesn't help. Like, and we've taken the last bit of height, or some of the last bits of height out of the side. In Scales was one of the guys who I can remember scoring a header. Might have been Champions League or something like that. Okay, might have been even scored the own goal there against Hearts, whatever it was recently. But yeah, we're just very defensively. I don't know. I think if he continues in the same format, I don't know. I fear, because as I said, they're going to concede goals in every single game, and it does worry me, because the weekend I thought Ralston was very poor. Apart from the 2 mistakes he made, even with the ball, his first notion was obviously to go backwards or pass it backwards, and I thought a lot of his passing was poor. I thought the keeper was poor for a guy who would have expected his chances. I'm not taking away the 2 finishes from the guy. There wasn't much he could do about them, but there was a lot of the other parts of the play. There was a couple of times he came for crosses and he dropped 1 or 2, and he went to punch 1 or 2 when you're thinking, just catch it. I don't know. He just didn't. He didn't fill me with huge amount of confidence, and I was looking forward to seeing him. And I don't think Tierney had the greatest game in the world either. But that's everyone's opinion is slightly going to be different, and everyone's entitled to their own opinions on it. But that was for me. I was shouting for Ralston to come off the pitch, like he was so bad. I thought.
Right. Jinx in a Sallow, maybe. I mean, after conceding 2 goals in 8 minutes, he's maybe kind of knocked him back a bit. Just yesterday during the game, that's maybe, do you know what I mean? If you're coming in, all the hang with Schmeichel's knowing the team, boys getting his chance, and then you've let 2 goals in 8 minutes. Do you think maybe that kind of affected his performance in general yesterday? Maybe
the keeper.
Aye.
Possibly, but realistically, Mark, there wasn't a lot he could have done with the 2 goals. There were 2 pretty impressive finishes in both occasions. You know what I mean? I don't think there was a huge amount he could have done with it. Look, would Schmeichel have saved him? I don't know. Probably not, because I think there were 2 really good finishes. And yeah, fair enough, it might have knocked his confidence a little bit, but at the same time, he knows he's not going to get a huge amount of chances. So when he does have his chances, he has to be seen to be taking them on. You know what I mean? And I suppose, staking a claim for the team. Like, for me, it's just coming for crosses, taking crosses, giving the guys that little bit of reassurance in front of you that, like if he has to clean house, like.
Well, I've said that we've done podcast tales. If a keeper, that's for me, a keeper should come out and do that. Come out and, the one, I think it was Sutton that was commentating yesterday that said, the one that came out and punched and he tripped that. Why did they not just catch that? But again, that's kind of the modern game, isn't it? The younger keepers are all taught to do that now, isn't it? Rather than catch it. But
maybe it is, Mark. I don't know, but to me, it's old school. I don't know.
I'm like you, but if you're a goalkeeper, you come out and try and grab the ball and see if you miss it, just get down and scream. Because somewhere in there there'll be a foul on the. Do you get what I mean? You see it all the time. Keepers just keep falling down, and the next thing it's just a free kick when they've hardly been touched. But there is a contact, so it's still counted as a free kick. So that's for me. That's what a keeper should be doing, especially a guy the size of Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah, they're big boys, like, you know what I mean? More or less, like. Yeah, look, I don't know where they go from here, Mark.
Salah's a bit taller than Schmeichel, but he's nowhere near as.
No, he doesn't have the bulk. He doesn't have the bulk, no.
Even apart from Schmeichel's girth that he's put on over the years, but even when he was younger, he was a big, massive unit like his dad, wasn't it? Yeah,
he was, yeah. But as I said, I don't know where they're going to go from here, because he is going to. It's clear as day and night. This is the way he's going to play, and this is it. And I think, listening to the way he's been talking, he obviously has Kieran Tierney down as a benchmark for guys coming in. This is my expectation of you. So you can see Kieran Tierney coming out of the side. But I'd rather, if they were going to play Tierney, if he was going to play him as a left wing back, if that's what he wanted.
100%. Terence, that's where I'd be than him.
you know, and say to him, look, if you can only give me 70 minutes or 75 minutes, fine. We have other guys that can come on for the last 15 minutes or whatever it may be, up and down. But again, I know, I'm sorry to keep repeating myself and boring people on the podcast, but if you're going to do this, you need 3 centre backs. You need a right-footed one, a left-footed one, and it doesn't matter who's in the middle, whether he's right or left-footed. But you need that balance, and you need 3 centre backs. And for me, you need 3 centre backs. You need a whole midfielder. After that, you can play whatever way you want. You can have your man overlapping whoever you want. But at the minute, it's kamikaze football. It really is kamikaze football. And if I saw Celtic playing in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time, and they're away at the Hearts, for argument's sake, which is it would be a massive game. I don't know when it is, but I'm just saying. And you're going into the game knowing Celtic will concede at least 1 goal. You're already behind the 8 ball. You're already under pressure. Whereas from years gone by, most Celtic sides that went on to win the leagues, most of them, in a lot of cases, were always the situation, the defensively side of things, had conceded very few goals. Where a lot of cases were on the top of the league in how many goals they've conceded. Like Celtic seem to have conceded, I know, like there's about 6 or 7 goal difference between Hearts and Celtic, I think, in first and second in the goal advantage thing. Whereas normally Celtic would have been, I think we would have been well out in front. Like
it's usually like an extra point for us, isn't it? We were goal difference we've got to everybody else.
You know, and that's where my fear is. We have problems keeping it out at one end, and we have problems scoring the other end. I know people will say, "Well, we got 4 the other day," but we haven't strikers that will score. We've no striker, like, and in a when it comes out to tight games and chances like that, you know, I don't know. Like, say, as I said, Motherwell away will be a tricky game. They seem to be playing decent football, and then the few days after that is the Derby game. And Celtic can't afford to drop any points. I know Hearts dropped points the weekend, but Celtic can't afford to drop any points because they need that game in hand, and all of a sudden they could be their level with them on points, maybe behind in goal difference. And when they're going to put it, if Celtic lose 1 or 2 games, all of a sudden that becomes a 6 and 9 point gap again. And you know, the way Celtic are playing with this hit and miss football, I don't know. I don't know.
I still think Celtic. I do still think Celtic will win the league, but I think there's going to be a right few fair up and downs between now and the end of May when they give out the prizes. You know what I mean? Just because. We're going to get on it eventually. Do you know what I mean? What we're going to be doing in January. This is what's. Again, I've said this for years with Celtic terms. You know that the only people that can stop Celtic are Celtic.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Very fair point, Mark. Yeah, and that's something I was literally going to say there a minute ago when you were saying it, just before you said it about it's going to massively depend on the personnel they bring in.
It's like it's all right us sitting here saying, "Oh, if you're going to play 3 at the back, it should be say Scales, Trusty and Carter Vickers," but Scales and Carter Vickers can't do the job that Nancy seems to want these guys that own the park today. Do you know what I mean? So it's not a case of we need another 2 centre backs. We need to go and fund 2 centre backs that can do this specific job. That's kind of maybe it's an age thing, but for me it's a bit alien to ask a centre back to be overlapping with wingers and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's no kind of. It's not that's what I mean. It's a kind of newfangled thing. So it's all right saying we need centre backs, but we still need centre backs and that are going to be able to do what Nancy's wanting to do if his system is going to be a successful one.
But that's why, Mark, as I said to you, that's why for me it makes more sense that you have a Kieran Tierney as that left-sided wing back rather than the thing. Like, look, I keep saying there's no way that they can continue by playing 1 centre back and 2 wing back or 2 full backs and expect the full backs to go forward. If that's what he expects and he thinks it's going to be successful, then God only knows what he's watching. Honest to God, because that realistically then means at one stage of the game, he's going to have an expectation where he's going to have 9 players forward, 1 defending and a goalie. Really? Is that what he's looking at? With his sink a battleship board that he has out there? Do you know, he's like...
I mean, but I've seen the glaring kind of holes in the team in that terms, even just playing in Scotland. And imagine getting into...
If in Europe, they'll get annihilated.
Imagine getting into Europe with this kind of system.
They'll get absolutely annihilated in Europe in this system, Mark, because the quality will be, even for the if you want to call it the lower level sides that are still much higher than Celtic, they'll absolutely destroy them with power and pace and everything else they have. If they're going to book, Roma's a prime example of it. That could have been any score. It was 3 in the end, but it could have been 5 or 6. You know, and I as I said, I don't have a problem if he wants to play this way, but to play this way, you have to have the personnel to play this way, and you have to have 3 centre backs and a whole midfielder. After that, you can put whoever you want, because on the current predicament that he has, as I said, Mark, he means that basically either Trusty, Carter Vickers, or Scales, or say Pusey. Well, Pusey's completely gone, but those 3 guys, only one of them is going to play.
Aye, looks like that to me.
Only one of them's going to play, and he's going to play KT in that left side, and he's realistically, you would imagine he's going to play Alistair Johnson in the right side. And to be expecting Kieran Tierney and Alistair Johnson to then overlap your wing back and have none of these other guys, the other midfielders, sitting back to hold. As I said, I think it's kamikaze football playing that way. But however, as I said, that time will tell. But as I said, I can't see Celtic keeping a clean sheet for the rest of the season if he plays like that.
No, it's just, I mean, as you said there, terms, I mean, they're against Livingston. They're what the quote unquote worst team in the league, you know, and that. And, I mean, and even though we beat them 4-2, they gave us a hell of a game.
Oh, they did, yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? It really was. That could have been easily a pure crazy result yesterday, like 8-5 or something like that. Yeah,
but am I the only one that feels this? And I'd be interested to know if any of the lads who are listening in the live chat think this. But do you get the feeling that every time the opposition attack us now, that you feel like they could score? I do. Because we are so open at the back. Like yesterday, every time Livingston got the ball and it was wider left and the ball was crossing in, I was thinking to myself, there's either a shot on goal here or there's a goal coming up. Like,
but it's the thing about the thing is that they're getting the ball and getting it into positions that they're getting the chances.
That's what I'm saying. It's so open, and that's what I feel. I feel because of the way the man is playing and he's leaving so much space there. Every time the opposition attack, because we've got so many guys in front of the ball at times and everyone's trying to get back, I genuinely always feel like 1 in 3 chances the opposition have that one of them's going to be knocked into, one of them's going to score. Like, it's just like yesterday, like as you said, like Livingston had another few chances where they could have easily scored, and there was maybe 1 or 2 last-ditch defending at the very end, and that's just fellas throwing themselves in the way. So yeah, I just feel I cannot see Celtic not conceding a goal in the next so many games.
No unless you check. But that right. I mean, we've spoke about that before with Rodgers and his horseshoe football and how he went for like this. The first time he was here, he changed games with substitutions and stuff like that. And then the next time he was here, it was just like, well, it was like for like. Nothing changed. It would just change the players and hope that they could do what he wanted better than the ones that were already started the game and stuff like that. But I mean, see if Nancy is so good and forward thinking a coach. See if what you've seen of this team so far, and even in training, right? Surely he can tweak his system to suit what he's got to know as players. Do you know what I mean?
You would expect so, Mark.
Set the team up right, whatever kind of thing. They would set the team up the way he wants, blah blah blah. This is the tactics and that. But see, what he's got to know, knowing that Ralston's limitations and stuff like that. Well, you say to him, right, well, look, you stay back, you hold back, you're a better defender, you're an attacker. It was confusing you where you should actually be in the pitch at the fucking time, so you stick to defending, stick to what you know. Do you know what I mean? That'll bring your best out of them, that'll bring your best to him. And then come AJ being fit, that can bomb up and down and do the job that he wants to, and put AJ in and just tweak it back to your original plan and stuff like that. For me, any manager worth their salt should be able to look at their team, look at what you've got, even, right, we've got players out with injuries, you know that, we know that, we're down to our bare bones. What can I do with this squad and this team to make sure that we win games? For what I want as a manager, my team to be doing on the pitch. You don't just set it out, as you say, like the kamikaze approach, or we'll score more than them.
Yeah. And the thing that I don't understand about it, Mark, as well, is like, and again, I'm not a football manager or any stretch of imagination, but it would logically, for me, make sense that you say you have Kieran Tierney as a right wing back and you have Scales on the left side of the back three. And if Celtic do lose the ball, that Tierney can go back into the left back position. Scales can then shift back into the centre back position with Trusty and with whoever is the right wing back or whoever is the other defender, the third defender there, that they can slip back into the right back role and defend as a back four. You know, if that's what they need. But this idea, and sorry to keep repeating myself, but this idea of playing one centre back and then you look at the bench and there's like 3 and 4 centre backs on the bench. You're going like, wow, I don't know. I have no idea what he's looking at. I genuinely don't. And I don't understand the logic, as I said, of having the 2 full backs there and in a back three. And I don't know what he's expecting of them. If he's expecting them to overlap, like you were saying, I just think to me, that's just so naive. It's not even funny. I really do. And I don't know.
Evening, G-Dog. Nice to see you in, bud.
Unless Mark, he has this notion that he doesn't have the players to fit into his system, and one thing or another, fair enough, time will tell. But even like, you know, there was times where he probably had it the other day where Luke McGowan as a left wing back. Like, I like McGowan as a footballer, but he's not a left wing back. Like, I don't know, I don't necessarily say he was playing it the other day, but he has played it since the man's come in. Do you know, I mean, it's just like comparing it to Ralston. You're asking players to do what they can't do. That's no what they're not. I mean, it's like if I don't even know how to explain it. Terms. You're basically, for me, he's asking players to change in a matter of weeks everything they've learned about their position and where they should be on the pitch. They're expecting, Nancy's expecting Ralston to forget everything he learned under Brendan Rodgers and Ange and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And Mark, he's expecting Anthony Ralston to forget everything he's learned as a young fella.
That's what I mean.
Ralston was a right back.
Aye.
But this is a manager, Mark, that has centre backs on the bench. And he's not playing them. He wants to play a right back and a left back in a back three instead of a centre back. I just don't understand what his expectation of it.
I can't wrap my head doing it because for me, in a way, he's flung. I mean, the people. Ralston's he's one of the guys that everybody kind of piles on. I like Ralston. I've said it for years and that. Right? He's maybe not the best right back or full back, but he'd be a first start for the majority of other teams in Scotland.
But he had a mare, all joking aside. Like, I like him, but he had an absolute mare the weekend. Like,
no, I'm not arguing with that. But again, he stuck at Celtic when he could have probably went away and been first choice at like your Dundee United and stuff like that. Who else is going to be happy enough to sit there and be backup at Celtic, a backup right back? So you see, against Livingston, playing a back four with Ralston at right back, Ralston would have the Stormry again.
He'd have been fine.
Aye. You can rely, if Ralston plays a right back, you can rely on him against the majority of Scottish teams. When it comes to Europe and that, he's miles out his depth, right? But for me, as a right back, he's a good enough squad player for Celtic. But Nancy's thrown him under the bus, and it's just the guys that have never really gave the guy a chance. And yet KT's been stinking the park up and all, but nobody's giving him as much dog's abuse as Ralston is.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about it, Mark, is all he had to do for the time being was if you put Scales in there, all of a sudden it's a normal back four. It's a normal back four, and if you want Ralston to overlap and you want Tierney to overlap, they can overlap. At least you have some cover there. But the way he plays at the minute, it's just wait. Like, can you the next two games, the Motherwell game and against Rangers, can you honestly think that Celtic aren't going to concede? Like, you just know even at home they're going to concede. Like,
aye, they'll concede. Still think they'll win, but they'll still concede.
You know, and to me that's poor management. If you're going into a game knowing that you're playing a certain way, that you're going to give up a hatful of chances to the opposition. I just think that's poor management. And I'm surprised, and maybe they're not allowed to have a say in it, but I'm surprised that whether it's Strachan there or whoever is involved in the coaching side of, and maybe a man doesn't listen to anyone, who knows? But I'm surprised they haven't gone and go, look, this, we need to be more defensively sound in this. This isn't really working. And maybe Nancy's of the opinion that he's no issues. Well, this is the way I'm playing, and that's it. Like,
see going forward. What I've seen for Celtic under Nancy, I've been impressed with it. Really impressed with it. Compared to what we were watching under Rodgers, it's a bit quicker. It's more dynamic. We're making a hell of a lot of chances. I think, and I will say as well, the big Ian Acho when they get injured, I think we'd be scored a hell of a lot more goals and we'd probably win the cup final. Do you know what I mean? I think that was to give Nancy a bit his due. I think that was a bit of a blow. But if Big Ian Acho was on the pitch, we'd have scored a hell of a lot more goals, I think.
I wouldn't dispute that, Mark. But again, you have to be defensively sound as well, and they can't go into this notion of, well, if they score 3, we'll score 4.
Aye,
because there's going to be the day where that's not going to happen.
That's what I was saying, Terence. I've been impressed with how we're playing attacking teams and that. But defensively, it's like, I mean, it's like, as right, we sit here and we all tick, we know this and we should do this and we do that, right? But none of us here are qualified to say shit, if you get what I mean. Yeah. It's like putting me in charge of the defensive stuff. It is. It's like putting just a idiot like me in charge of it. Do you know what I mean? It's just so. And why, as you're saying, Terence, why, like, are the other coaches no saying anything? And even the wee Irish boy, Terence, or that. Do you know what I mean? What if he's like his right hand man? That is it Ampadu or something, right? Why are they not saying, look, we need to tighten things up at the back? Why is Nancy not saying it himself? Yeah, I've not got a problem here. Look, see, going forward, everybody's enjoying it and loving it, but we need to tighten up at the back. We're too open at the back. And he should be seeing that himself, Terence.
Oh, God, he shouldn't. But this is the problem, Mark. He shouldn't need someone to tell him it. But clearly he does, because for some reason he's still going with the same system, the same thing every time. And again, it says, if he wants to play 3 at the back, that's his prerogative. He's entitled to play 3 at the back. But you have to play 3 at the back the way 3 at the back is meant to be played. Not 3 at the back starting off, and when we win the ball, we're going to have 1 at the back. Now, that's kind of under 10s football. Do you know what I mean? Where everyone runs forward and one lad stays back, and then the other crowd hoop with the length of the field, and the last boy back is going, oh, crap, I've got to try and get over here and cover the whole pitch. Like
like the old black and white things. You get with 22 players just chasing the ball about the park, that, aye.
Yeah, that's my only... Like, some of the play going forward, some of the touches, some of the movement, some of everything is really, really good to watch. And they've created bag loads of chances, bag loads of shots, something that they hadn't been doing. From that, 100% I applaud him. But you also have to do the dirty side of football. You also have to do the dirty side, which is defend, keep clean sheets, protect your goalkeeper, stop the opposition scoring as much as you can humanly do. At the minute, Celtic are doing the complete opposite. They're making it far too easy to attack, far too easy to create chances, and far too easy to score. And you know, those things nearly negate the positivity of going forward. As I said, offensively, they're excellent. Defensively, they're terrible.
Aye, you can see what he's trying to do in terms with the attacking side of things.
Yeah, and it's excellent. It's excellent, Mark. But you
can see when as well tells you. I mean, he's thing with. I mean, I've got a cheek to talk about when he talks, but I kind of forget a bit hard to understand some of the stuff he says. But he says he's looking for personalities on the pitch and stuff like that, and he's the attacking side of things. And see when you see them like the wee back heels inside the box and stuff like that, you never seen that under Rodgers. And that was one of the things I used to say that. It's as if he wants his players to be robots instead of just saying. I mean, even under a Neil, and you can see it under Nancy, we'll get this in our terms. How many times it pisses off that everybody, the winger, just cut inside all the time. It's even under Martin O'Neill and under Nancy, you can see that he's kind of leaving it up to the players whether they want to go on the outside or whether they want to go on the inside.
Oh yeah, and that's great. And that's great to see. And I agree with you, because even if you watch some of the clips from, say, on YouTube, if it's the Celtic View or whatever, you see a lot of the training, and there does seem to be a lot of talking of just one touch or quick control and then pass, quick control and then pass movement. And you can see it when Celtic are offensively attacking the opposition, and it does look good. And I agree with you with some of the movements and some of the little back heels and the little flick offs and the touch off. And it's done at speed, and it's done at pace, and it's done at something that I would have always been critical under Rodgers, how slow the ball was. That side of it, I'll applaud him. But for me, you can't just look at the one side of it. You need to look at the whole picture. And I think you can still do that, Mark, without asking the two boys who are left and right centre back to bomb forward. I don't think you need them to be able to do that. If anything, I think you get players running top into other players' space, so to speak. I'd rather the three centre back guys, just their job is, listen, you just defend. You can come up for corners or free kicks or whatever, but your job is to defend. And that's what I ask you to do. And let those other boys up there. There's enough talent up there with Ingles and McGregor and McGowan and even Yang and Maeda, and look, all the rest of them that are there, Hitade when they come on, they've all got enough touches in them. They shouldn't require Tierney or Ralston to consistently overlap them. There should be enough players on the pitch that if Engels has the ball, that he passes it to Yang and he can overlap Yang. What's wrong with that? Or vice versa, if like when McGowan has the ball, that Maeda is making a run on the outside of him, which was happening the weekend. And, you know, letting them do that themselves. You don't need in the back three, the right back and the right centre back and the right centre or the left centre back going forward.
He looks a bit lost as well, doesn't he?
Oh, he looks very lost. He just looks like it's kind of running all over the place. Well, there's probably a combination, Mark, of lost and is he looking to go? You know what I mean? Is he looking that, you know, maybe my time is up, maybe I want to go somewhere else?
Well, the rumours are that he knew that he was wanting to stay to the end of the season. I mean, it's like a yoga situation. What if he goes somewhere and the World Cup coming up to Maeda's not going to risk his Japanese squad place for. Do you know what I mean? If he moves in January, you know, I mean, it's a bad month for any player to kind of move, but with a World Cup coming up, so I don't think Maeda will leave in January. I really don't. No.
Look, and hopefully he doesn't. You know what I mean? I like Maeda. He works his socks off. He's a terrible touch, like. But
how does he grow his hair as quick?
You're asking the wrong man here, no.
But I mean.
A
few months ago, he was like pure. I minded the samurai skinhead and stuff like that. And now he's running about like he's got a mullet.
Oh yeah, he seems to have changed. He changed it. He must have some hair growth. In fairness, and we must get on to him and ask him what's the story.
Something to do with like the energy in his body just super grows his hair. But
maybe I must try it in, man.
But I terms it is. Maeda kept, for me, Maeda's a bit struggling in this system. He doesn't know whether he's a winger or whether he's to be a striker or whether he's to play like in a bit of a number 10 role or something like that. But you can put that on to, again, a lot of the players at certain stages of the game seem to just don't know what they should be doing. And I noticed at one point, because the camera kind of zoomed in on him and then zoomed out, but he was caught in it, and it was McGregor again doing his point, and I know people started going like after Peter Grant with the point stuff, but you could see McGregor was kind of maybe was showing them that, like, after seeing what Nancy was saying about like McGregor and KT and that, is McGregor getting it more, and is that what he's trying to do on the park with all this pointing now?
Maybe, who knows, Mark? Who knows? It's hard to say, but
somebody needs to get it to get it. You know what? Somebody
100%.
needs to fucking get this and try and get the players to do what needs to be done on the pitch.
100%. But as I said, Mark, like, is it a case that like there's players, in a sense, if you're looking for these guys to bomb forward, are they running into space that Maeda assumes he's meant to be going into, or because you have Luke McGowan playing on the left side of the midfield, and then you have Maeda in front of him. So is one not meant to be overlapping the other? And then if Kieran Tierney all of a sudden comes into the picture as well, someone goes, "Oh, do I go down the line, or am I meant to go in here, or am I meant to go down there?" It's like there's nearly too many people running into one space at times. Whereas for me, like, Maeda's best position was always that left side of the midfield where he track up and down all day, particularly like we all remember the games against Rangers where he'd have drove Tavernier mad bike because he'd been bombing forward all day and he was always able to bomb back. So like logic would dictate that he's your left-sided wing back, if you want to call it that. If Tierney's going to stay in that position, frankly, and he's up and down all day, or McGowan in front of him, but obviously they want Maeda further up the pitch or whatever. Well, obviously, whatever way a man sees it. But listen, I have no idea what way he sees it, but he seems to have players in positions at times where you think, I'm not sure. Like even that long ago, he James Forrest, when he came on in one of the games, was it against? I'm not sure what game it was, but James Forrest came on and he was actually wound up in the middle of the park, and McGowan was out on the right or out on the left or something like that, and you were going, you know, that doesn't make any sense what he was doing. But as I said, I like what he's trying to do offensively, but a lot of the stuff not that it's hard to be over my head, but a lot of it is over my head. Like,
aye, definitely. But Terence, as we just said there, man, it's just the defensive side. Just tweak that, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying. I genuinely, Mark, without keep repeating myself, and I keep doing it, and I know, and apologise to everyone. The back three, if you're going to play 5-3 at the back three have to be. They have to be stayed. They have to be in a sense. They have to be solid stationary position. There's three guys here. He's covering the right. You're covering the middle. He's covering the left. This is our job. We cover this area. If we lose the ball, someone might come back and they might go to back four, whatever it may be. But this is our job, is to cover these areas and have a holding midfielder of some shape or form in front of them, and then they know their positions. You cannot there was no way under O'Neill that he was going to expect Balharin to bomb forward or Mialdi to bomb forward. They were like, your three hairy ass centre backs, your job is to stop the ball. That's it. Pass it 5 yards to Neil Lennon or Paul Lambert or Petrov or Thompson or who's ever in front of you. There's enough players in front of you with a bit of skill and a bit of talent. You pass it to them. We have our Didier Gats, we have our Jackie McNamara's, even Tom Boyd or Guppy or whoever it was, Alan Thompson. We have these guys that their jobs are to be attack minded. Your job is to defend. That's all I want you. I want you to defend it first and foremost. The clue is in the name, defender.
Aye. I mean, is it something? I mean, I don't not get any interest in the MLS or that, but maybe guys in the chat even will know this. Is it something that you could just accept it and like in the MLS? This is how the guy plays. If they win, they win. If they don't, they don't. So, do you get what I mean by that, Terence?
Yeah, maybe it is, Mark. But this is why I'm not.
It's like if Seafood been offered. It's like even like Ange, right, gone to Spurs, right. fair dues, he won the Europa League and stuff like that, but look at how it was going in the league. Was it just a case of like Angie's system just didn't work against that quality of player? That, do you get what I mean?
Yeah, clearly it didn't, Mark.
We spoke about in Europe, playing in Europe with Ange. He never tweaked his system. So
no, he didn't.
Was Nancy playing all this fancy football on the MLS that looked great to watch, but he kind of never really done much in it. But he's a great coach. Look at the football he's playing. But that doesn't mean it's going to work in Scotland. Doesn't mean it will work in Belgium or or any other country.
100%, Mark. Look, you know, I fully agree with you, and maybe that is the mindset. But like, surely this is where I'm saying this. Surely the guys around him are going, listen, this. What we're doing and what you're trying to do, a lot of it is good, but we need to get this part of the game right. There was stages yesterday where Celtic had the ball and the keeper was passing the ball to, say, Trusty, and the opposition, the Livingston fella, was literally on his back, and you're passing the ball to the centre back, and he's maybe giving out to Kieran Tierney, who also has a guy on top of him, and he's trying to. You know, this is general football. This isn't just necessarily Nancy, but this is general football where they think they have to pass it out from the back. But maybe you're right, Mark. Maybe it is that situation that they've come there. But like, this is what I'm saying. Someone should be able to go to him and say, look, we need to be way more solid defensively than we are at the minute. We need to just stabilise and have a back three. Like, you're having a goalie and a back three. You've 4 players. You've the rest, the other, 7 players forward, between midfield and forward. Why do you shouldn't need 2 guys that are, in a sense, in a back three to have to overlap anyone. You just shouldn't.
No.
You know, there's enough players there that you've got the 3-4-3, and realistically at times you've got one guy up front, the two guys up in the top 3 will come back into the midfield, and you've realistically got 6 in midfield. So you should be able to be in a position where those 6 guys are able to interact with each other, and especially the guys left and right. You're probably looking at 2 or 3 guys either side that they have to be capable of overlapping each other quite comfortably between linking up with the centre forward. There should be no requirement whatsoever for the back 3 come over the half a line unless there's a corner or free kick. None whatsoever. It just exposes everything in the team. And to be honest, Mark, it shows people look at it. I look at it, I'd say my own point of view. I won't speak for anyone else. But to me, it comes across of huge levels of naivety on Nancy to think that it's okay to play that way.
And stubbornness.
Well, stubbornness, Mark, will get you a P45 fairly quickly. That's the problem. You know, stubbornness will get you a P45 fairly quickly.
I mean, we saw it with Ange, we saw it with Rodgers, and we've seen even for Nancy, we've seen it again. I mean, we can't get into Europe at any level playing that system.
Well, there's no hope. There isn't a hope in hell. But like, you know, Mark, I mean, Mark, he can hardly do this. He can hardly go into the SPL playing this level, playing this style, as in defensively styled. You're not going to get away with it. And like, let's be frank, I'm hopeful like you that I'm kind of positive enough that they'll win the league. But if they don't win the league, it's going to be his job.
Oh, definitely.
You know, it's going to be his job. And he's got it.
No matter what happens in January with transfers, if he doesn't win the league, he'll boot the door.
Yeah, 100%. Because, like, and again in January, come January, I know you're probably going to talk about it in a few minutes, but come January, if he gets in, whoever he gets in, X, Y, and Z, to play this system or play these roles or whatever, and he does get a bit of backing, however much, he does get a bit of backing, and it all goes pear-shaped, and say Celtic get knocked out of don't qualify in the Europa League, which, to be honest, the way they're playing, I doubt it, and they don't win the league, and hypothetically they get knocked out of the cup. then it's an automatic, like, thanks for coming, enjoy your trip back to America.
Would the league be enough?
Is the league enough?
Aye.
It probably will be, because you will have people saying that he came in at a bad time. Not after Martin Neal, but he came in with everything with Rodgers. He came in when Celtic and all this. There was a title at stake. Look, at the end of the day, Mark, the title is the main thing. We always say we'd love to win a cup. I know people always say the treble, but I also think that's overhyped, because people have been spoiled.
Oh.
People have been spoiled with the treble. From the point of view of that, I think, like up to, I think Martin Neal's time, when Martin Neal won his one in 2001 or something like that, it was something like the second time they'd ever done it, or third time they've ever done it, where they've obviously gone in a great run the last number of years where they won 4 of them in a row or something like that. So I think they're a lot harder to win than.
But just talking about like the amount of money that Celtic have got, how far in front we should be. I honestly, right, and I'm 52 next year. Do you know what I mean? I've seen it all, whatever with Celtic and that, but I honestly don't think the treble's any like you shouldn't expect for the biggest, richest club in the country. Even you do right, and even you get into England, right, and the treble's a big thing, and then the bigger teams count a treble as the league, their main cup, and the European Cup and stuff like that, right? The League Cup, right? That doesn't really bother me. The only thing that bothers me about that is in Scotland, over the years, the chances are if we don't win a cup, that lot win it. That's one of the main things in Scotland, why the treble's the most important, like a kind of important thing to me. Do you know what I mean? Because 9 times out of 10, if over the years, if we don't win a trophy, they've won it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. Yep.
So that's it. That's the thing. But even down to the fact, when we messed up qualifying for the Champions League, I said it on the podcast, and I said it to Tonks, that was my minimum requirement for Celtic this year, was to win the treble, to just claim back some kind of pride after that Kyrat, which was just, I'm not even getting into it. I'll end up ranting all night. But for me, a game was on Rodgers and the players. But for me, after that, the players ourselves should have been like, that should have been our main aim. But Rodgers left, Martin Neal came in, and the timing, Nancy shouldn't have kept, that should have been stopped. Martin Neal should have took Celtic into that cup final.
Oh, no question about that. I wouldn't dispute that for a second.
Aye. So the timing, even appointing Nancy, was a bit of a fuck up, in my opinion. Right, so I'm not putting that on him. But between now and May, I'm looking for at least a double, surely. Europe, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there with the way Nancy's playing the team in that. But I mean, surely we're going to top up, get some players in that suit Nancy's system in January, make it a bit more what he wants to, what happen on the pitch, and hopefully the players screw the nut and get it out of the line with the 2 trophies that are left to win. What else can you ask for? But if he doesn't win, the league, for me, the league's got to be a given for any Celtic manager, any of them.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you with the league, but where I would say with the cup, Mark, is because the system that he's playing and the way he's playing. A cup game is, with the cup game being a one-off situation, like there's every probability that Celtic could lose a cup match. They could get a draw. They could be drawn away at Aberdeen, for argument's sake, or drawn away at Hearts. And like I said, if it's not addressed, you're going into a game where you know Celtic will concede at least 1 goal. So you're theoretically, in my head, you're going into a game, if you drew Aberdeen away, say, in the cup in the 3rd or 4th round or whatever it may be, you're going up to that game in your head knowing, right, we're 1-0 down before we start. And we're going to give up plenty of chances the way he's playing defensively. That, to me, is a worry in a cup game. A league game, look, they might be able to salvage it back because the opposition who are close to them will over the run of it drop points as well. That's fair enough. But a cup game, because it's a one-off, that's where I would worry that Celtic could be caught out. Because, as I said, it's a one-off. It's at home against Aberdeen, for argument's sake, away to Aberdeen. You're going there thinking they're 1-0 down before the start, because Celtic, under this manager and under this format system they're playing, give up chances, give up goals. They just do. Since he's come in every game they've conceded multiple goals. They've conceded
silly goals. Mistakes. I mean, mistakes the team and individual players have made.
But Mark, in every game they've played in, they haven't conceded less than, they've conceded at least 2 goals in every game, if I'm not mistaken. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Hearts game was 2 goals, the Roma game was 3 goals, the St Mirren game was 3 goals, the Dundee game was 2 goals, the Livingston game was 2 goals. I mean, maybe it was 1 goal among these other games. But what I'm saying is they're conceding 2 goals nearly per game, minimum. That's where I'm saying in a cup game, if you're going into a game and you know that you're already a goal down to the opposition because of the way that you play and the way that you fend, even though Celtic should be able to win the cup and a league. I don't feel as confident.
He's got to come back and bite you in the bum at some point, innit?
Yeah, I don't feel as confident under Nancy doing it as, say, if you told me O'Neill was in the same position now, I'd feel a lot more confident in Martin O'Neill doing it than I would have Nancy doing it. Just because of the way he has this defensive structure and defensive system and the way he wants to play defensively. They give up chances and they give up goals. So that's a huge fear for me, and that's why they could get out. They could get caught rotten in the cup game.
Cheery guy, you ain't.
No, I've been very pragmatic.
I definitely.
But I'd be honest, Mark. I think if he was sensible enough to go to a normal back 3, if that's what he wants, and you're not expecting these guys to bomb forward, I think you'll get different results. As they said, and I said it here loads of times before, the definition of stupidity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And if you look at those 5 or 6 games that I mentioned, and it's 2 goals, 3 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals, 3 goals, surely he's looking at that going, yeah, well, there's times, Mark, where Celtic might have conceded 15, 16, 18 goals in a season. They've probably conceded that in the last 6 or 7 games. Surely Nancy must be looking at that going, well, look, we need to get more sound defensively. Or his assistant manager, or even Gavin Strachan pulling the assistant manager aside, going, listen, we need to change this slightly. We need to be a bit more pragmatic.
I'm just going to say that, Terence. Where's this kind of data-driven? Do you know what I mean? Stats stuff, where's that tell? Do you know what I mean? It's meant to show you where the weak points on the pitch and stuff like that. Oh.
I know, but let's be fair about it now. Stevie Wonder could see the weak points in Celtic's defence.
No, but it's meant. I mean, it's like Nancy, right? With his wee board and stuff, right? Gavin Strachan with his iPad, Did Nancy bring out a video analysis guy and that? But surely they're highlighting where the deficiencies on the park are to him.
But they must be. But the problem is, Denmark, is he basically going, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. This is the way I want to play. I'm okay with this. And if he is, then so be it. But the axe will fall on him, because you can't keep going into a game conceding goals after goals after goals after goals after goals after goals. You just can't.
Aye, the same way. I mean, that's the thing, Terence, right? Every team's going to concede goals, but see if you're conceding goals in a consistent positions, consistent plays for the opposition. That's where the problem rises. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every team. I mean, it's like, Terence, we watch every game and that, and no matter who Celtic's playing, even see who has it we've got in the Scottish Cup, that Auchinleck Talbot.
Yeah.
There'll be 10 minutes to that game that they'll have a couple of decent chances. And do you know what I mean? Every team during their games get chances.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I 100% agree.
Aye, but it's like with Celtic, all the chances against us are all coming for the same positions. It's all coming the same way, won't it? For the same weaknesses in our own team, the same spaces on the pitch and stuff like that. Arseholes like us can sit and see it in the telly, but yet the manager's not changing it to help fix the situation.
And that's where Mark, that's where I'm perplexed with it. I don't understand what he's looking at. I don't understand what the management team are looking at. And I don't understand this notion that he expects 3 guys at the back where he wants 2 of them to bomb forward. Like, I don't understand how he can look at that and think that there isn't a problem, or someone looks at that and thinks that there isn't a problem. Because there's a huge problem. If you watch any of the goals they've conceded since he's come in, the majority of them, the second and third goal from against St Mirren, for argument's sake, were basically Celtic pushing forward. St Mirren won the ball and they played it long left or right. And there was no defensive cover there, bar one man back trying to cover. And then through one or two a phase or two later, the ball was in the back of the net. And and you could look at any of the other games, and they're all the same. And you could hear managers mark after games, opposition managers saying, like Jim Goodwin said it in the Dundee United game, where Celtic should have been out of sight in the first half. They were only 1-0 up. And Dundee realised that Celtic were pushing up the way they were pushing, and they were leaving space left and right. And Dundee United went for the long ball left and right, and all of a sudden it was 2 quick goals. Celtic were at sea at the back. And, there's another 3 points gone where it's a game you should have been 4-0 up at half time. But again, the opposition are seeing the way Celtic are playing. They see they're leaving basically next to no one back. They're playing long balls into space, and all of a sudden, Celtic have to try and turn and get back and defend. And like, if Nancy isn't seeing that, or if he is seeing it and he's ignoring it, you're only going to get away with that for so long. He lost 4 games in a row. He's lucky to still be in a job. I think probably a lot of it was down to the fact that the board were so stubborn they weren't going to move anyway with everything that's gone on. That's another argument. But he's kind of got himself a break with. He's won the last 2 games. Hearts are beaten the weekend, so in a sense he's back in it. There's only, I think there are 3 points behind with a game in hand. He has a couple of big matches coming up in front of him that he can't afford to lose. But I honestly can't see him change. I honestly can't see him changing the way he's playing, as in defensively, and that's my worry.
The next 2 games for me, Tier, that'll define our season for the league anyway. Motherwell's a big, do you know what I mean? That's going to be a hard game. They're doing well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're, again, what we're saying, we're a bit shaky at the back. That, and then we're going to play them, do you know what I mean? Playing the Huns, and again, his first derby. Do you know what I mean? What's the score going to be there? Do you know what I mean? I think it's at Celtic Park, so at home you're expecting us to win. But that was my go-to with the Hearts game. I mean, even on the chatting, on the Discord. I mean, I was never really wanted Nancy appointed, but I'm backing the guy. I still want Celtic to win every single game. Do you know what I mean? And I thought, well, it was like we've got Hearts, but we're at home. But even because the new manager bounced, we never got that. I mean, how many other teams get a new manager in, the place gets a pure lift, and boom, they start going a wee run of wins. We get the opposite. It was the bog, it blew up and deflated.
But the only thing I would say though, Mark, is that we should have been 2-0 up against Hearts. We had no striker, and we still have no striker. I know Anichebe is injured, and he's probably going to be out for another long while as well. So, like, they need they badly need a striker. Look, come the Derby game, maybe he has a guy in mind and he might come in and he might start and he might be a goal scorer. Please God.
Oh, no, come on. No way. Terence, there's no way Celtic signing a... Nah. I can't see that happening. Celtic signing a striker and I'm starting the Derby game.
Why not? I'm curious, why not?
Well, you know me, Terence, I'm usually quite positive about transfer windows and that, but I'm not putting my neck in the line and saying that they'll do good this time after the amount of times it's left me embarrassed. Do you know what I mean?
But do you not, and listen, I'm not saying yeah or nay this, but do you not think that...
I don't even know if we could get the paperwork done in time. Well, and I honestly don't know if we could get the paperwork done in time, Terence.
But if hypothetically that he has a guy already picked out and the work is going on in the background, I know you can't sign the player till whenever it may be, but surely logic would dictate if he has a guy in the background and this is his guy, whoever it may be, and come it's stroke at 12 o'clock or midnight on the 1st of January, that it's already nearly pre-agreed with the club, behind closed doors, blah, 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 blah. He signs, and he signs on the 1st and registers straight away. The game is until the 3rd.
But it's a bank holiday in Scotland.
Yeah, it's a bank holiday. I get that, but it's not a bank holiday on the Friday, though.
No, but there's a bank holiday in Scotland on the 1st and the 2nd, right? Plus, even down to, as I said before, for Brexit, trying to sign a player for anywhere, whether it's the MLS, whether it's for France, Italy, Africa, it's all the same paperwork you need to get through for work permits and stuff. That's what was holding up the Nancy appointment.
Okay, fair enough, so. Fair enough, so.
I mean, maybe you could get some way you could do it, do you know what I mean? But it's not as easy as it was like a few years back there, just you could sign something and get it through.
But you would imagine that the football authorities, because the transfer window opens on those days, and it's bank holidays, it's kind of like, you know, that you'd expect that they would be working on them, because obviously that's going to be a massively busy time for them. That means technically that if you sign a player, that you won't be able to register them until the 4th or 5th. If that makes any sense.
Aye, but see, a lot of it, there's a website you use, that FIFA TMS turns it, all the transfers are logged on.
Right.
And see when you're waiting, see like even on bank holidays with countries, there's no actually like regulations or it. It's kind of, if somebody's there in the office or somebody's looking after the emails and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then as once it gets on that FIFA TMS site, that's the international clearance, and they're allowed to, that's them cleared to play.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that aside, anyway, okay. Suppose they can't sign for the Derby.
No, it could happen, but it could happen, but I'm not expecting, and I wasn't even meaning that for the kind of paperwork side of things. For taking me away in that tangent there. I just meant, do you think the Celtic board will be that proactive? That's what I was meaning.
Yeah. They'll have to be, the Mark. Surely they'll have to be. I know I'm as sceptical as anyone, but surely they'll have to. After the...
that's what I was looking at summer turns and look at the egg. I got in my face, that's how I was...
And I get that, but surely, Mark, after everything that's occurred this season so far, it's been an absolute... Excuse my French, but it's been an absolute shit show on that side of it. But surely if they've brought in this guy and they're like, people were calling for his head after the 4 games, the board have come out and said that he's their man, they're backing him the whole lot. If that's the case and they come out and they're saying all this and he says that he needs, like everyone knows they need a striker and they might need 2 or 3 players, whatever it is. If Celtic don't go and sign someone, then he has no hope. Then he has no hope, because if he's going to Like Johnny Kenny, with the greatest respect to Johnny Kenny, isn't up to it. And each of you is injury prone. You've then got a Shin who's, again,
Sinn Féin.
would he get into most other SPL sides? Probably not, with the greatest respect to the guy. I don't mean to be rude. So what did they do? Did they then go back to sticking my aid up front? Like, if they don't back him, Mark, to an extent, I'm not saying crazy money, because they're never going to do that. But if they don't back him, if he's identified a particular player or whoever it may be, if they don't back him, then there's all the possibility come February or March that people are going to be asking for him to be sacked. Because if he loses another 2 or 3 games, they will be asking him for it to be sacked.
Aye.
So the board have either got to back him or set him up, leave him to the wolves. It's going to be one or the other, like. And I'm not saying back him with crazy money, but I'm just saying back him to get in a centre forward, to get in a centre back, or get in whatever position. There's 3 or 4 positions that he needs particular players. Look, we all know they need a centre forward. So, like, if they don't buy a centre forward, then for me, if they don't bring in a centre forward for him, and they're not willing to spend on a centre forward, for me, then they're happy enough for Hearts to win the league.
Aye. I mean, I'm trying so hard to like Nancy Terence. Do you know what I mean? He's a Celtic manager, so obviously, as I said earlier, didn't want him appointed, but I still want to do well. I still want Celtic to be winning trophies, winning games, and playing good football and that. But as what we're talking about, if the board don't back him, it's him that's going to get the brunt of it again. Do you know what I mean? It's just a matter of time before. I think it is just going to be a matter of time, because I think the job's just. I think it's just too big for him. You know, the next maybe 18 months of that'll be the case. But right here now, it's down to what we've said there. How many managers have we said this about Terence? The board need to back them, or we're going to get back the way.
Oh, listen, loads of them, Mark. But as I said, this is a guy that they said they backed a couple of weeks ago. He was their man, blah, 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 blah. If they don't back him in the window, then he isn't their man. And they're going to let him basically fodder to the wolves. Because the fans will like, the first defeat that comes after the window, if he does lose 1 or 2 games and the board haven't backed him, the board will get it, but he'll get it worse. He'll get it worse. They'll be looking for his head. And I don't like saying that, because I'd be the same as you. He's a Celtic manager. I'd be hoping he does well. I like certain things that he is trying to do. I don't like some things that he is trying to do. But for me, I would be saying, right, he wouldn't be my cup of tea either, like you, Mark. But I'd be saying, right, give him this window, see what he does. If he gets 2 or 3 players in that he wants, fine. And if he then still fails, you go, fine. You had a chance. You were lucky to get as long as you did. It's time to go. But if he doesn't get any support from the board in this window, and it still goes pear-shaped, he will be the fall guy. No question about it.
Good Bobby, 1962. Do you see that on the screen? Ted, do you think there's anyone in the background telling him to change his tactics? I don't mean tell. I wouldn't like to think of somebody telling him, because that's what's the point of him being there. But I don't know if you've heard earlier on. We said that we'd like to think like your kind of Gavin Stratton's number 2 guy, the Irish boy that he brought in, and even maybe some of the players would be saying, look, we need to tighten stuff up at the back. But I don't think nobody's got any right to tell him to change his tactics.
Is that Bobby 1962 saying that?
Aye.
What I would say to you, Bobby, is I like Mark there. I would hope so, but I would also hope so that the manager is open-minded enough and not too pig-headed or arrogant not to take people's advice. Because the whole reason that he has a backroom team is because the whole terminology is in the team. There's no I in team. There is me, but there's no I. So, like, if he has these backroom team around him, and these are the people he wants, if he's not going to listen to them, then there's no point having them around. And I would hope that some of them are man enough to go to him and say, listen,
Did
boss,
you just say there's no iron team?
yeah,
Oh,
there's no I in team, but there is me. But as I said, you know, as I said, Mark, as I said, there need to be. What's wrong with you?
there's no iron team. Sorry.
Yeah,
Talking about a cliche, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But like, I do hope that he's man enough to listen to those guys. And that assistant manager, he's had him with in Columbus, and he's had him in loads of places. And he said out that this was his dream job, the assistant manager's dream job. So I would hope that these guys are man enough to say to him, look, we need to be more sensible in how we defend. We need to be more pragmatic in how we defend. And if they are saying it and the manager isn't listening to him, then I don't know, but I hope someone is saying it, because it's as clear as day and night.
Well, if Chiefs are, I mean, their job, that's their job.
Yeah, it is their job. That's what they get paid for.
Stuff in. So, again, if we can see it, and do you know what I mean? Everybody can see it watching the games. It must be getting flagged up with the data. So, again, he'll get hoisted with his own petard kind of thing. He's either got to change things to us, or it will eventually cost him his job.
Oh, and I agree with you, Mark, because the likes of Gavin Strachan, if he's and the data analyst guy that he brought, if they're saying, look, boss, we're exposing ourselves in this area of the pitch here, in this left back position. We've got no cover. They're consistently hitting that area. We've looked at it. 47% of their ball is going in there, or we're hitting this side or that side. That's for them to go, okay, we need Kieran Tierney to stay in a tree. We need Anthony Ralston or Alistair Johnson or Liam Scales or Trusty or Carter Vickers or whatever it is. We need them to stay in a solid tree to negate that issue. And if he's overlooking that or he's ignoring it, then, as I said earlier on, be it on him, but it'll fall in his head.
Petard, Shakespeare, Henke. See, highbrow stuff there, you're telling us they can't understand it.
I can hardly see it now when you're watching on my phone. What's he saying?
Just that saying, hoisted by his own petard.
All right, very, very posh.
There's always a petard.
Jack clearly got you a dictionary or a bit of Shakespearean book for Christmas.
I've got a few Shakespearean quotes on here. And stolen. Mind I said, what was it? There's something rotten in the state of Denmark.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Aye, I'm sure it was David Lowe. I think it was David Lowe. I seen tweeting something about it, and I was like, he must be listening to me.
I'm sure he is.
But even there, I mean, that's a good wee pod we've done the night here.
It is indeed.
And we went without even getting into any of the board stuff and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
To be honest, Mark, I have no interest in that. I'm sick of talking about it.
I just try and keep it on the
team.
The side of things, anyway. Do you know what I mean?
The team and the squad are the key.
Because that's where we're at, the new terrace. That's for me, as I said there, the next two games for me are crucial in Celtic's season.
Massive.
The game against Motherwell, we win that, but even with Hearts and points, I'm sure. And then if we beat the Edmonds in the third, when are Hearts playing before us or after it then?
I don't know. Well, the Celtic game is Saturday, isn't it? The third is a Saturday.
But even at that, I win there, and that, for me, that puts us straight back in the driving seat for winning the league.
Oh, it does. It puts the pressure back on. Pressure back on Hearts. Where, look, let's be fair about it. It'll be a situation that Hearts haven't been in. A lot of the Celtic players have been in. A lot of the Celtic squad, the management team, have been in this position. So there would be more of an expectation on Celtic that they would be able to handle it a bit more than, say, Hearts. And you would hope that they would push on from it. And But I agree with you, Mark. The next two games are absolutely massive. The Motherwell away game, the Rangers game at home. It's huge. Huge two games.
And Motherwell are doing well. You're in a bit of a run now.
Yeah, they're supposed to be playing very good football. I think Stephen Welch is even playing with them by all accounts. But they're apparently playing very good football, so from what I've heard. So that's always been a kind of a tricky game for Celtic. But we're playing well offensively. We're creating lots of chances. We just need to convert them. My biggest fear, as I keep going on about it all night, is they just have to be able to defend and defend properly. We just cannot keep giving chances after chances after chances after chances, and that's my fear.
Aye, and just get these two. Well, get this Motherwell game out of the way, and even obviously the windies open, but we've covered that with signings. But get the Motherwell game out of the way, get the Derby game out of the way, and let's hope that the board. Let's hope that just is mental, because there's no other club in the world would be sitting in a position like Celtic, is there?
No, none. Because the thing that I don't understand about it, Mark, is that surely, like, the board have to realise, like, if Celtic win the league, you get another chance at the golden goose of the Champions League, the group, the group stage table things, whatever they're going to call it.
Aye.
And you're looking at excess of 40 million. So, like, no one on here. Certainly, I'm not asking the Celtic board to go in and spend 20, 30 million in transfers. I'm asking the Celtic board to be sensible and go, well, if the manager needs a centre forward, and the manager needs a full back, and the manager needs a holding midfielder, the manager needs a right wing, whatever the manager needs, be pragmatic and get 3 or 4 players that can actually make a difference to the team. I don't want to hear about Celtic signing, with the greatest respects, I saw them linked to some young lads from Dundalk who's 17. I hope he has a great career. I don't know where he's going to be. But that to me is just deflating stuff. If that's what
he's not getting signed to get into the first team. Do you know what I mean?
I know he's not getting signed for the first team. But what I'm saying is,
see, for me, that young boy's just got to waste his career going to Celtic to play fucking tudge about in that B League.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say, Mark, is I just don't want that to be like last summer where they said they signed 8 or 9 players.
Aye.
And the whole lot of them cost like 3.5 million or 4 million. That's all I mean. I'd rather Celtic just say we spent 10 or 12 million, for argument's sake, and we brought in 3 to 4 players. If there were 3 million, 4 million pound players, fine. And I'd be happy with that. And if he needed a centre forward, if for argument's sake, Celtic said they spent 15 million, hypothetically, and they wanted a centre forward and used 7 million, and then you got 7 million and you had a couple of 3 million pounds, I'd be over the moon. I'd be delighted with it. No, the likelihood is it's probably not going to happen. But I'd rather Celtic only buy 3 players for 10 million than buy 15 players for 8 million.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? Because you're like, we've already seen the lads that have come in and they're not up to that level. They're nowhere near that level, and they're taking a wage, and it's not their fault. But there's a wage being paid to them where it could go to someone else for better use, like we've discussed this before. I just buy a half decent player to do the job that the manager wants. That's all I'm asking. I didn't even ask anything for Santa. So Santa, if you watch listening, if you can get me this, it'd be ideal. That's all I want.
Well, you spent all that month working in his factory with your wee elf suit on. You never even get one off him. Even a Christmas bonus. Don't worry.
I was supervisor this year. I got a promotion, so it was grand.
A bonus.
It did. But
you get a striker in mind terms. What about chat? Who would you like? Just one player for January. Who would you like us to sign?
Honestly, I don't know, but I just a striker. I don't know who, but I'm not up in the football side of it. You know what I mean? I know they were linked with that Rossi fella, and I know they were linked with the Palestinian fella. I wouldn't necessarily. The Palestinian fella seems to be very injury prone, and there's also the whole. I don't know how good or bad he is, but there's a lot of unnecessary baggage might come with it. Do you know what I mean? At the current present moment in time, do they need all that? Maybe not. They could look closer to home, Mark. They could look at the the Hibs lad? Do you know what I mean? I know people might say he's not.
But,
It would be,
Bowie.
is that his name? Is it?
I don't know. Keith Kev was going on about that Bowie lad to me the other
Yeah,
day.
that's him. Yeah, that's him, the Hibs lad. For argument's sake, they could look at someone like him. I know people argue, well, you know what I mean, but what about Europe? To be fair, Celtic don't really sign too many players for Europe. Ever.
I'd like us to go back into the remaining boys at Montaigne.
Oh yeah, the guy with Cluj, is it?
Aye. I mean, mind they took it off, they priced him right out of move and they took it off in that fair dues, but he's one of the ones I've kind of no messed about, and I think that's one of the ones I would really like to see us signing. And
yeah, I know they were linked with some fella in Sweden as well. I saw. I don't know. I saw his name, a big Ivory Coast lad or something like that.
well, aye.
But again, to me that's a key position, because we don't have a striker. We don't have a striker. We have a lot of players in the other positions that can do the jobs well. For me, we have plenty in defence. It's how he sets it up. To me, we have nothing up front, and we're getting 35. We're getting 30 plus shots a goal regularly. I mean, Johnny Kenny, with the greatest respects to him, in the last 3 or 4 games, if that was a Lee Griffiths, Gary Hooper, Dembele, Edward, they'd have scored a couple of hat-tricks. Do you know?
Lee Griffiths.
Yeah, Lee Griffiths would have scored a hat-trick a couple of times. Gary Hooper would have scored a couple of hat-tricks. Edward would have probably would have certainly scored at least 1 or 2 hat-tricks, and Dembele would have knocked in a few as well. They're just 3 or 4 guys that come to my head straight away. So from even Kyogo, to be fair, would have scored.
That's what I've got to just throw that in there. Before we wind it up there, would you take Kyogo back?
I'm always reluctant to take guys back, but in the situation we're in, I probably would. I'm always slow to, but I know he misses his fair few chances, but he also scores a good few. So to me, at the minute, we are backs against the wall. So I would take him back if the option came.
Backs against the wall terms. It wasn't 12 months ago the guy forced his way out of Celtic. While we were chasing a treble, we still had Champions League games to play, but he wasn't happy in Glasgow. He wasn't happy at Celtic. And it's when Pete Tong from Celtic fans would take him back. He can rot in Birmingham for all I care. Well,
there you go. But I'm saying if we have no other striker, that would be my take on it. Ideally, Mark, I don't like bringing back players that have left, like whether it be Ayer, whether it be Edward, whether it be any of these players. But if we had no choice and no option, we had no one else bar what we have at the minute, as a last ditch thing, I would take it back. But I would prefer if they signed a striker, like if it was that DC fella, that Rossi fella. I know they probably won't sign him. I know he was linked, and the Palestinian fella was linked, and whoever. I'd rather even them go with that Bowen fella, a Bowie fella, whatever the Hibs fella, who's banging in goals, and he would be an easy fix to put in straight up there, and he scored goals. That would be my take on it. I don't like bringing players back in, Mark, but I'm saying is
that really a guy's name?
What? What's he called?
Henky, I thought I know that earlier on, mate. I thought you'd been a wind up. Is that seriously a guy's name?
Wicklow Caesar?
No. That's Henky for the Discord terms.
All right.
The player's name.
That can't be right.
That's fucking mental. I'm out my way again.
That's something from Pornhub or something, is it? That's something from a porno. There's no way that's a guy's name. Can't call that out. What a big God.
Oh, God.
Well, that's lovely. He definitely scored up front anyway.
He put it in earlier on. I thought he was in the wind up, but he put it up again.
You'll have to Google that name when the show finishes, Mark.
I'm not Googling that.
Jack.
I don't know which going to come out. I will get grot bags to Google it.
Yeah.
She's
Jack,
got all that.
Jack will leave that to your capable hands, so to speak.
She'll know who it is. Jack will know who it is.
Fair play to her.
Oh,
Right.
right.
That's it. So I better get ready for work, I suppose, buddy. Work in the
Are
morning.
you back at work tomorrow?
I am indeed. Back for the day tomorrow.
What about you off at New Year? Just get holidays at New Year?
Yeah, I'm back in tomorrow. Well, I'm back in Monday, and I'm off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and back in Friday then for Ireland. So
New Year's just, I know, it's just a lot of nonsense now, isn't it?
yeah, it's just to be honest, it just comes and goes. Christmas is different. I enjoy the Christmas, but New Year, I wouldn't be bothered with it now, to be honest.
Aye. Christmas is decent, but New Year's, unless you're like out getting fully and that, it's nothing to, innit? It's just...
No, yeah. Unless you're a person that wants to go out and a young person out and about and all that kind of be able to count down from 10 to 1 to go, yay, happy 2026, and something like charge you 50 quid to go into the bar. Other than that, no, not really.
Right, we'll wind that up then.
Yeah.
I still can't get out of that name.
I know.
Right, thanks very much for coming on to us. That was a great wee blend, a good bit of cracking that.
Yeah, my pleasure as always, buddy.
Thanks everybody. I'll stay on for 5 minutes till once we go, bud.
Yeah, I'm still laughing at the name, sorry.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, thanks everybody for listening in. Hope you enjoyed it. Just me and the wee angry Irishman. I forgot to put your wee hornswoggle up to you, sorry. I don't. We'll try and sort another pod out at some point during the week. Maybe after we beat Motherwell 6-4, 8-2, 8-5, whatever it's going to be.
That'll be something like 113 to 2-5.
But thanks everybody for listening in. Hope you enjoyed it. Everybody in the chat, everybody that listens back. Hope you all had a nice Christmas. That's us then. Hail, hail, good night, and God bless.